I think it's always a nagging thought that the older generation will perceive us as, the soft and weak kind of people because we are the younger one and we haven't proven ourselves. But so in that case, we have to work even harder just to prove ourselves that we are not part of, the strawberry generation.
I guess this is a self-fulfilling prophecy, so we meet up to other people's expectations and beliefs of us to be a strawberry generation.
The previous generation tends to see us as a little bit easily bruised. We give up easily, and I think that assumption filters down to us. So when we meet them, I've had people come up to me and tell me, Josh, it's obvious that you don't know what you want, you give up too easily. And I think to some extent that is true. There's that assumption placed on us, and sometimes we falter under that expectations.
How do you cope with the generation gap in the workplace? And how do we make the strawberry generation stereotype less prevalent? Hi, I'm Daniel Martin. Today we're at the School of Film and Media Studies, Ngee Ann Polytechnic, to talk to young Singaporeans about the strawberry generation stereotype. I have with me on the panel Pauline Strawn, Associate Professor from the Department of Sociology at NUS, Adrian Tan, Managing Director, Recruit Plus Consulting Private Limited, and Bae Yam King, a father of three and MP for Tampines GRC. There's still that generation gap that exists. People might, in groups, older generation might not want to work with the new younger generation thinks the older generation's outdated. What do we do in the workplace to bridge that generation gap?
Communicate, right? That's the most important. And if you have to leave a job because it didn't work out, claim an exit interview so that you can have your say, right? And not be stereotyped into a wrong perception of why you couldn't stay. And I think that, the notion of communication is really something that's lacking in Singapore. Maybe we're just not used to talking to each other. So I think that's something that your generation should facilitate. When you go into the workplace, speak up, speak constructively because you want to be heard, and then have follow through so that you don't just shout in a room and leave, but speak and continue to work with the people who are with you so that you can advance your goals.
A lot of companies would actually have a lot of events that they hold, like family events, bowling events and all that. The whole purpose is not just to let you have fun and practice your bowling skills. It's really for everyone to come together, to have a common platform, to have fun, and more importantly, to communicate on a less professional level. Because the more you understand each other on an informal basis, the less misunderstanding will come into play.
A lot of the older generation have been telling us that, all of you guys need to grow up. You guys are too soft. You guys are too weak. While I feel that we should grow up, I think that the older generation also need to keep up. There's quite a couple of us who don't match the standards of our older colleagues in the workplace, but they also need to understand that when they leave the company, it's going to be us that's taking over. One of my friends actually went over to this company, and she was very eager to show her ideas and all that. And I think the older colleagues could not accept that. Yeah, and when she requested, could you teach me some of your ways instead? The older colleague actually said, if I wanted to educate the youth of Singapore, I would have become a teacher instead. There has to be a midpoint that we have to meet at.
People above our generation, they're perhaps brought up in a more Asian way, where the hierarchy is very, very, very respected and we all keep to it. Whereas in our generation, we have Western influences and we are more open and more verbal about what we think. And from there, I guess the older generation will see it as us being defiant or being, whiny, or perhaps just not being able to take anything.
We don't want to be our parents who, go to work every day and sorry mom, but go to work every day and complain, I actually don't really like my job. I don't really like what I'm doing. I want to do something else. But they never have the courage to speak up or to pursue something different. So that's what's very different about us now.
That's interesting. Have you seen a lot of people in your parents' generation who've had to make compromise and sacrifices for the greater good? They had to put their kids in school, so I'll do the job because it has a paycheck.
Yeah, I do see that in my parents' friends. Some of them, they actually do want to start up their own business, but they will say, oh, it's not stable, and then I have 3 young kids with me. If I do something I like and it fails out, what's going to happen to my family? But I believe that's because they have a family. But for the younger people, some of them, nowadays we are not afraid anymore because we're a bit protected and we don't have any burdens with us. But I think as part of the younger generation, we feel that passion is very important. So in the workplace, if we find something that we're passionate about, we are definitely able to excel and do well.
The most important is the attitude and also the motivation expectations between the different generations. Misunderstanding happens because we don't communicate. For the young, I still feel that we should show respect for the elders because it's the right attitude. When you're humble, when you want to learn, the elders will be willing to share.
If you try to boil it all down, it's really knowing exactly what interests you and what drives you. If you are able to identify the things that you truly is passionate about, you're going to put in a lot of hours into it, naturally. No one need to force you to do OT. You will automatically do OT. You will put in a lot of hard work, you put in a lot of time, you put in a lot of effort just to make it work. I hope every one of you could think about the things that you truly love to do. It doesn't have to be a job. Think about it, the things that you truly love to do, and then try to find someone who is willing to pay you to do it.
The privilege of youth gives you this leverage that when you are young, without too many burdens on your shoulder, you should search and reach for the stars, right? Because you're not going to be able to do that when you get married and have kids, and then you have to look after your family. So my parting words for you would be, don't be too hard on your parents or on Generation X. You will become one of us in no time. And then your perspective will be different, because as a married person with loans, responsibilities, and children to care for, their worldview is one of stability. Whereas for you, excitement, change, is what drives you. And that's good, right? So do your best and have optimism in our society.
Thank you so much to our panel for joining us, and to the students here. I promise you, I will no longer use the term strawberry generation as well. Unless they have to make me host a segment about it. But I thank you for changing our opinions as well. Thank you all for joining us on this exclusive series, Talking Point Live on Campus. This is the last edition here at Ngee Ann Polytechnic at the School of Film and Media Studies. If you've liked it, keep leaving your comments on our Facebook page. Let us know where you want us to head to next time round. Thank you to the students. Thank you all for clicking on the videos. We'll see you next time.